What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for tuning in today. Hope you're all doing well, having a great day so far. My name's Ted Howells. I am a photographer and videographer from the southwest of England, and to kick off the channel today, I thought why not just start by telling you guys what I use on a day-to-day basis to create my content and what I'm going to be using to film these videos for. Getting straight into it then, guys, what I'm showing you today is a narrowed down version of like a full camera bag, because I've worked on this setup for the last couple of years, getting it absolutely nailed for myself. This is stuff that I use every single day without fail, and I only now keep stuff in my bag that I know I'm 100% going to use. Because we're all guilty of it. I know I definitely was when I first started out. I'd literally pack my bag full to the brim. It'd weigh like 6 tons on my back, like walking around like a struggling Ninja Turtle or something. It was absolutely ridiculous, like backup cameras and backups to the backups and backups to the backups to the backups, GoPro, all of the GoPro attachments. Like, yeah, I'm just going to take a head mount with me. Might need a chest mount just in case I can't be bothered to wear the head mount, and then probably something just to suction it to a car even though I'm not actually driving, going on a train, all that kind of stuff. So I've narrowed everything down now to stuff that I know I'm 100% going to use. Kicking off today, we got the camera bag itself. This is the Lowepro ProTactic 450AW. That is a mouthful. This is such a great camera bag. I've literally had it for like nearly 3 years, I think, and never had a problem with it. It's like basically waterproof even without the built-in waterproof cover that you've got. I was in a blizzard in Poland in March and didn't bother putting the waterproof cover on because effort, and everything inside the bag was still dry apart from the stuff that I had outside the bag. So great bag. It's got a nice hard top which protects your camera from people chucking it around on aeroplanes, or you chucking it on the floor if you're a bit like me and forgetting that it's a camera bag with expensive gear in it. You've got rear entry into the bag. Stops people being able to steal stuff if you're traveling in a city you don't know. As you can see, loads of room on the inside, completely customizable, but I've got my camera slot here, lens slot, lens slot, lens slot, you name it, drone, everything fits in here. If I wanted to have a full big setup, if I wanted to have a full-on massive setup in there, I can carry so much stuff. All the little things on the outside that you can hang things from are super helpful as well, because if you run out of room on the inside, you can then hang your gimbal or your tripod or, I don't know, your jacket if you get a bit hot. Anything you want. You've got plenty of space for plenty of stuff. All around, it's a great camera bag. Mine's filthy, as you probably just saw, but that's because it goes everywhere with me. I was up in the mountains last weekend with it and took it off, put it down on the floor to get my camera out, and didn't actually realise that I put it in a muddy puddle because it had been raining. So that's my bad. But it's a great camera bag, can take any weather that hits it. It's been all over the world with me, and it's not even that expensive for the amount of usage that you get out of it. Moving on to my main camera. For a long time I was purely Canon only. Canon is the one and only. But until like lockdown this year, when I've started watching other videos from people that were using different brands, I kind of got swayed a little bit. I'm gonna have to change the camera here just so I can show you what my main shooter is, because obviously I'm shooting on it. So my main shooter driver camera that I use for everything that I do is the Sony A73. As I said, I used to be Canon only, but I started watching more and more videos and saw all the capabilities on the photo and video side that this can do compared to the camera that I'm shooting on now, which is a Canon 6D Mark II, which I think is like the brand equivalent of the A73, and if it is, then Canon is doing something wrong, because this, excuse my language, shits all over anything that the Canon can do. I think the Canon might have like 2 extra megapixels over this, but you honestly can't tell the difference, especially if you're just taking photos and uploading to Instagram, because Instagram crushes the quality anyway, and everything just doesn't look great on Instagram. And then printing wise, I've printed plenty of photos from the Sony since I got it, and honestly it comes out so sharp that I can't recommend this more to anyone that is looking for a good camera body. I've got a battery grip on it. That's mainly just because I've got like abnormally large hands, and without the battery grip, holding a Sony for me basically just feels like I'm holding a toy and doesn't feel like I'm holding anything. So it's more of like a safety measure than anything else. Like, yeah, you get to have 2 batteries inside it when you've got the grip, and it is helpful because I take all my photos in the portrait mode, if you will. But such an amazing camera. The video specs are amazing. You get internal 4K, I think it's 100 megabits a second, up to 30 frames a second, and then 1080p you get up to 120 frames a second, which is perfect for all that slow motion footage that everyone loves doing. And the internal steady shot as well, so you've basically got stabilization built into this camera, and the lenses as well. So you don't even really need to use a gimbal for the majority of the time that you're going to be using this camera for video stuff. Super fast photo shooting as well. I think it does up to 10 or 11 frames a second, and you get silent shooting as well. So if you're shooting a wedding, you're in the ceremony, you're trying to get that shot of the first kiss, you know, camera's not going to be going like absolute mad thing. It will be completely silent. People won't even know you're there, apart from the fact they turn around and they see your massive lens hit them in the face or something. But other than that, you're a fly on the wall. Now I know there's going to be a few of you out there going, oh but Ted, there's Canon colours, Canon's colours are amazing. Yes, kind of true, but also not true, because if you know what you're doing when it comes to editing, you can edit a Sony photo to look like it came out of a Canon camera. I can do it with my iPhone. I don't really believe in the Canon colour science hype, to be honest with you. I used to, until I started editing on one of these and doing more stuff on my phone, and now it's just like, if you know what you're doing, you've got your style, you're going to edit to that style anyway, so no matter what camera you're using, you're going to get the same sort of picture quality, colours, edit anyway, because no one keeps the colours true to how they come out of the camera. So enough on the Canon colours hype, just buy a camera that's going to do everything you need it to do. And for me, the A73 is that camera. I only actually own one native Sony lens, and it's this. It's the kit lens that came with the A73. It's the 28-70 f3.5 to 5.6, so it's not fixed aperture the whole way through, so when you zoom in, the aperture closes, and it's a bit of a pain. But for a kit lens, this is so good. Like, the quality of it, you saw a minute ago while I was filming on the A73, I was actually using this lens, and for a lens that costs no more than like £70 on eBay, like, I don't think you can get much better. Compare this to the 1855 that comes on a Canon camera, and it's like literally non-comparable, because the quality from this even feels expensive, which is really nice. I went out when I bought the Sony and I got the Sigma MC11 Canon EF to Sony E mount adapter. So all you do is attach it to your Sony camera, and then you can put any Canon EF lens on it and just use it on the Sony. Only issue with it is you don't get full functionality in video, so autofocus with the Canon lens using this adapter on the Sony camera, you don't get autofocus. You do, but it takes like 5 minutes for it to focus, and then it keeps searching. It's just a pain. So that's a bit irritating, but at the end of the day, when I'm usually shooting video stuff, I'm manual focusing anyway, and if I want to use autofocus in video on the Sony, I'll just use the Sony lens that I've got, because it's perfectly capable of doing things that I need it to do. When it comes to photo side of things, using this adapter, however, you get full functionality no matter what. It does say that you don't, but you do, and even the eye autofocus is still bang on, gets it every single time without fail, and the photo is just super sharp, especially if you're using Canon L series glass, because they're just like known for being crisp. So that's probably what I'm going to do for the foreseeable future, is just use my Canon lenses on a Sony body, because I just like the way it looks and saves money. Saves going out and spending thousands and thousands of pounds on Sony lenses, which just seems pointless when I've already got thousands of pounds worth of Canon lenses. We're back on the Sony now, so I'm assuming this picture looks way better than it just did. Moving on to lenses, I have an arsenal of about 4 or 5 lenses, but day to day when I'm going out, there's only a couple that I tend to take with me, and including this one if I want to do some video stuff, which is the 28-70. My main shooting lens that is always on my camera for photos is this. It's the Canon 70-200 f4 IS Mark 1. So it's old, it's beat, it's been all over the world, its autofocus hardly works anymore because I've dropped it so many times, and it's still an absolute beast of a lens. Literally, as I just said, lives on my camera. I use it for everything, whether it's portraits, landscapes, product stuff, you name it. This is always on my camera because it's just so versatile. Like, most people think that for like landscape photos you need to have like a super wide lens, but personally I like to have like the telephoto sort of look when I'm doing landscape things and focus more on fine details of the landscape, like shoot one peak of the mountain rather than the whole 10 that are in front of you. That's just my personal thing. So absolute beast. Yes, it's the f4, but it really doesn't bother me because I use full frame cameras, so the low light capabilities of them are second to none, especially the A73. Low light is just ridiculous. So I didn't really see the need to upgrade to the 2.8 or the Mark II or the Mark III because this still works fine. I probably will upgrade soon, but for now, absolute monster of a lens, and it still works. So yeah, that's like my main shooting lens. Next up, my all-time favorite lens is the Canon 85mm 1.8. I bought this second-hand for like £170 probably 2 years ago. I think this was like the second lens that I ever bought, and I've been in love with it ever since. For portraits, this thing is absolutely insane. So crisp. The bokeh is amazing with that 1.8 aperture, and there's just something about the 85mm focal length that just makes everything look so nice. For me with lenses, that's pretty much all I take out day to day because I know what I like to shoot. I've nailed my style over the couple of years that I've been working on it, and I just don't really have a need for any other lenses. I've got a nifty 50. Everyone knows and loves that lens. I use it a lot, but I don't take it out with me every single day. And another thing that I tend to take out if I need it or if a client gig requires it is a Canon 24-105 f4 again, Mark I again, but still such a great lens. It's so versatile. You've got that wide at 24, zoom all the way into 105, and it is a beast of a lens. I just don't use it that often. It just sits on my shelf and just gets used when I need to use it. Next up is the part that everyone loves. We're talking about drones. What I use every single day for pretty much everything is a DJI Mavic Mini. I bought this probably like 6 months ago now, just before I went on my last travel trip before lockdown happened, and I've got no bad words to say about it at all, like nothing. So small, so light, so portable. Quality on the video, 2.7K, is wicked. They recently did an update where you've now got full control over all the settings when you're in video, which is amazing because that's something that it didn't do to start with. There was like a little hack you could do where you could set your exposure comp and then lock it, but it's not quite the same as being able to set your shutter speed and your ISO. But now you can do that. I literally have nothing to complain about for this drone, apart from one thing. Birds of prey do tend to think that it's food, so if you're out in the open, keep your eye out for eagles and whatever other birds of prey you have in your area. I know at the beginning of this I said that I kind of narrowed everything down to having no just-in-case accessories and bits in my bag, but I'm actually guilty for it. What I'm about to show you now is something that I always take with me just in case I want to use it. And it's the DJI Osmo Mobile 3. I think I can get away with taking this everywhere. It doesn't weigh anything, it takes up hardly any room, and it's super helpful no matter what you're doing. You just set it up, put your phone in, and you've got amazing stable footage because you can use your phone now for video stuff. Shoots in 4K, 60 frames a second, and paired with this, you're going to get some amazing footage, and I just love it. I take it everywhere with me. So highly recommend getting one of these if you're into your video stuff. Even if you're not, just for like family gatherings, it's a great little bit of kit to have rather than having your nan shaking around, carrying your phone when she's trying to film you. Just stick your phone on here, give this to your nan. It's going to be like she's a pro. Audio wise, I literally just use a Rode Video Micro, the little one, like £50. Sounds super professional. It's what I'm using now. Comes with a little dead cat and it's just amazing. Loads of professionals use it. I use it on corporate gigs. Just use a longer lead like this one. Just use a long lead to basically just mount it anywhere off your camera just to get better audio. I don't even have it on top of the camera now. I've got it on the desk in front of me. So use one of these, use the Rode Video Micro, and you are set basically. You can get away with using it for pretty much any gig you want to do. And then essentials that you have to carry with you, they are annoying, but you need to have them in your bag, is filters, loads and loads and loads of filters, ND filters, UV filters, you name it, you gotta have them. Especially for video, with 180-degree shutter rule, you need to have these so you can expose your videos properly and make everything look as cinematic as possible. So I have no idea what brand this is. I bought this when I just started doing video and photo stuff. It's just a variable ND filter. It's lasted me well. It is a bit broken now. Listen. No idea what happened to it. I was taking it apart and cleaning it and it just hasn't gone back together very well since. So I probably cross-threaded something somewhere along the lines, or just me being me, just generally broke it, probably by smashing it down onto the floor like an idiot. But always keep them with me. They just slide into the front pocket in the camera bag. They're always there when you need them. Always, always, always. ND filters. And the last thing I always carry in my bag, no matter what I'm doing, is a notebook. I think everyone does this just purely because it's so helpful just to keep notes in, write to-do lists, shot lists. There's just a thing about writing a to-do list down in a book rather than doing it on my phone. It just gives me more motivation to get my to-do list done. And since I started writing a to-do list every single morning while I'm having my coffee, I seem to be way more productive. So something you should do is go out, grab yourself a notebook from anywhere. Don't forget a pen. Lovely Parker pen this is. But go out, get a notebook and a pen and just write your to-do list every day. Use it for shot lists and get shit done, basically. Everything that I've mentioned in this video today, including all the things like my gimbal and memory cards, and my air blower, my laptop, hard drives, you name it, everything that I use to create content is all linked below. They are affiliate links, they don't cost you any extra money if you do purchase through them. All it does is it gives me a little kickback, which helps me to be able to keep creating content on here, TikTok, Instagram. So anyone that does purchase through those links, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the gear that I use, and I hope it can be as useful to you as it is to me. But that's it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. It was great to have you all here. Do me a favour, do the YouTube stuff, subscribe, comment, like, share. Apparently it makes a difference. Who knows, it's my first video. But I'll be honoured to have you guys join my community that I'm trying to build, and there's going to be so much stuff coming on this channel. Travel content, when we can travel again. Vlogs, tutorials, gear videos, reviews, you name it, is coming. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, and next video is coming.